Hopefully. Hi, it's Alexia with Kelowna now, and I'm sitting down with the Stone Sisters. I feel very honored, actually, to be sitting down with Tamara and Shannon. They are two incredible women in our community and very inspiring. So I'm excited to be sitting here and learning a little bit more about them. So ladies, maybe one at a time, can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'm Tamara, and I work with my sister.
And I'm Shannon, and I also work with my sister.
I've been a realtor here for a long time. This is my 30th year. I'll celebrate my anniversary on June 30th. Started in 1995.
When she was like 12.
Yeah.
We'll just put that out
Yes,
there.
I was going to say
Just
a
to
baby.
clarify. And I've been selling, how long have I been selling for now?
20 years.
20 years.
Wow.
It's been a long time. So, yeah. And born and raised here in Kelowna. Love the Okanagan. And, yeah.
Well, I feel like I could just go on a tangent about being sisters and working together and following your sister's footsteps and stuff. But I think let's talk about a little bit. I mean, yeah, Tamara, you have been in the industry for 30 years. I mean, most of us think a very male-dominant space. So how was that coming into, I mean, you must have had to fight, and can you talk a little bit about your experience and like take us back?
Oh, for sure. It's it was interesting getting in and starting in that. And our mom and dad were realtors. Discouraged me actually from getting my license. When I got in, I was young, I was 12. And they wanted me to go finish my degree, wanted me to sort of be more focused. They knew it would be hard. Dad said, it's an old boys club and this will be tough. So I'd had really long hair and I needed to get serious. I needed, our phase, our phrase that we say in our family is get down to business. So I sold my hair, chopped it all off, chopped it, got $300, which paid for business cards.
Love that.
I went and bought a really bulky, boxy suit. And I started
and it was bad. I'll just put that out there.
I might have to get you guys to share that. We could put it in an article, like a before and after.
Honestly. I've got it. I'm giving a talk this week, so I've got it in my talk that I'm doing. But, I acted like and I presented myself as a 40-year-old successful woman. Challenge I ran into is I was trying to emulate all the other old men in the industry. So I was trying to be like my dad or all the big hitters in town. And I had no success. No. It didn't work. It wasn't authentic.
I was going to say, no authentic side of you.
Nothing. And just about quit. So I went 5 months without selling anything, literally bought groceries with my Save On More points, and kind of had to not reinvent myself, but figure out who I was and who my target market was, and
and be comfortable with that.
Yeah. And it took a long time. It was not easy. It was, you're ridiculed or mocked or dismissed. Yeah. I mean, I remember one agent had told one of our agents that works with us, they were working, did an evaluation, and somebody said, the people phoned and thanked the realtor and said, thanks so much, but we're actually going to go ahead and list with the Stone Sisters. And that agent, who will remain unnamed, said, oh, really? You're going to list with those bimbos? And I was like, oh. I said nothing. It's fine, whatever. We listed and sold the house. And I don't know, a year or so ago later, I had the pleasure of dealing with that realtor on a negotiation. Yeah. And we worked together, and right at the very end of it, he said, wow, that was great. Thanks, Tamara. It was really good working with you. I said, yeah, not bad for a bimbo, hey? He's like, what?
Yeah, you called them out.
Yeah, you called us bimbos. Yeah. So, you got to let it slide off your back and just forge ahead, regardless.
So, Shannon, did you have the similar experience? You started about 10 years after.
Yes, and it was still very much an old boys club when I got in. Now it's different. The average age of realtors has come quite a lot down, but I was still in my 20s, a girl as well. I didn't do to the same degree that Tamara did, as far as cutting all her hair off and wearing an older man's suit. And I was lucky I didn't have to do that at that point.
Very fashionable sister at that point.
I did. It was good. It was good. So I did keep my hair. But it was the two of us, I think, at that point, we did have to learn how to be, we take what we do very seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously, if that makes sense. We have a lot of fun. We have a great relationship. And I think it was being authentic to who we are, which is that. And we're not going to jive with everybody. And back then when I first started, it was acknowledging that we're not going to be suited for everyone that wants that old, boys club sort of, or what have you. But we were female. We were great communicators, excellent negotiators. And I think sometimes, you know, the fact of somebody maybe calling us a bimbo, not that at all, but you can go in and people are like, wow, I wasn't expecting you to be able to negotiate that deal. We've had that many times. So you can use it to your advantage.
Have they not seen females in an argument?
I know. We always win.
Well, and I think you know, we just learned, and still to this day, we have to know more. Our goal is to know more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the survivor model. You outsmart, outwit, outlast. You know more. We don't ever go in without having researched, and you know, allow them to underestimate us and then impress them.
Amazing. Well, I think what really stands out though, because it's interesting that you say that you had to, and a lot of females do in situations where they're trying to fit in an all boys club, and you see it in sports and you see it all over, but your branding stands out so much to, I think, me, females, other people. Like, you have built a very strong brand. And is that you just saying, that's it, let's throw out these
Yes.
Being who we are and standing up for that and saying, this is it. This is, you know, what we believe in. And we're a very female brand. And so we're just going to
And there was a good sale at Zara at the time on white, so we went with it.
And it just stuck. No.
And it just stuck. Well, it's just like calming and like inviting
and clean and ethical
and honest and you know, white stands for a lot of it does. It stands for a lot of different things, and we were strategic in that.
Very.
So you've won lots of awards. We could actually just do an episode of how amazing and how many awards there are. And we're here to celebrate a bit. We're going into nominations for Best of Kelowna. I know that you're not just selling homes. So can you guys maybe talk to us about why Kelowna community, or what you love about the community and working with your clients?
I mean, so much about the community, and that's actually a big thing in what we do marketing wise is we have our properties that we take on and we market those, and each property we take on is going after a different buyer. So we do something called a buyer profile, and we target who that buyer is for that each property, but we really are selling the lifestyle of the Okanagan. So we take our properties, we actually do road shows where we travel to Calgary, to Toronto, we go to Vancouver, we meet with buyers, you know, we promote the Okanagan, and that's first and foremost. And then of course promoting all of our properties that we have to then suit who that buyer is that's coming here. But I mean, really, we live in a Four Seasons playground. I don't think there's anywhere better. And so it makes our job easy. This is what we get to sell, and we love it.
A little bit easier. I feel like selling real estate than, I mean, I'm from Alberta, I can say it.
Yes.
Well, and it's, we don't just do a one size fits all. Okay, well, this is a house, so that house gets photos and a video and floor plans, and we put that house on MLS, and that house will sell itself. It is, as Shannon's saying, really coming up with a strategic plan of, okay, well, who do we think that buyer is? It's probably somebody, you know, moving here because they want their kids to go to university, so they're going to be here, and proximity is important, and bus routes, and selling that whole lifestyle.
And looking at where that buyer is. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? What coffee stop are they going to? It's looking
very
at,
detailed.
It's very detailed, and to try to decide how do we attract that buyer, and knowing them very specifically, and then targeting that property to them. It's fun.
So cool.
Yeah, it is.
So cool.
And you get to know so many different people, and like,
it's great.
It is.
It's, you know, what better thing to do than you know, convince people to move here? I mean, it's raining in Kelowna today, but yesterday was spectacular.
So
People
beautiful.
are running and biking in shorts, and Edmonton got a ton of snow. And Kingston, my youngest goes to university in Kingston, and she's like, Mom, it's freezing. It's -10. I'm like, it's warm here.
Yeah.
I was just in Edmonton last week, and we left when it was a blizzard snowstorm. We come home, and I'm like, okay, why did I leave again?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I know, we're so lucky to live here. Okay, I had written down a few questions. I just want to make sure I wanted, we're going into the hot season usually, so is there anything you can share with people, like if they're looking or they're first time buyers, or any tips or tricks to, like, this is when real estate kind of happens. And Okanagan's unique because, you know, I don't know if it still is like this, but like bidding wars, are we still seeing that, or is it kind of slowed down?
Few bidding wars, not a lot. I mean, it's everything. Real estate is always supply and demand, and you know, as you head into the spring market, there's a lot of supply. This is not the COVID market where, you know, things were selling in half an hour. It's actually a phenomenal buyer's market.
Okay.
And a tip I would have, and Shannon will have some as well, but a tip I'd have is, don't fall for the tulips. So first house I wanted to buy, I absolutely fell in love. They had these big baskets of petunias hanging outside the front door. And I fell for the petunias. I wanted that house because it was so charming and the flowers and
inviting.
It smelled good. And it wasn't good. It just, they were tricking me. So I always think, look for opportunity. Look for a house that still has snow in all the photos. Look for a house that needs new carpet, or a condo that's kind of stinky, or somebody smoked in it, or something. Look for opportunity, because other people won't see beyond, and you can do really well.
Yes, and in this market too, you can, for sure.
Well, I feel better about my purchase. I bought a house that I swear they had the whole neighborhood in there smoking.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those areas where it's just like, hey, you don't want to, it's cold outside, come smoke at my house.
All the neighbors when you moved in were like, oh, okay, we can't go there anymore.
But I mean, with some hard work and
and that's what it takes, and people don't want to see that. Like they as Tamara said, they see everything that's new and shiny, and
we're like that, right?
We are.
That new car, but you can eventually get there.
We're instant. We're in an instant society where we want everything right now. So we want to move into the house that's perfect.
Right.
And that would be another sort of advice as well, is looking at the long term. Real estate is a long term game. And I think sometimes people, first time buyers you asked about, look and go, okay, I want to get into the market, and I want that house, that perfect house with the white picket fence, 3 bedrooms, and I want it to be in this fantastic area. That's going to be really hard for a first time buyer.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people then just don't get into the market because of that.
Because they can't think they can't get everything.
Yeah.
Which you never can.
You never can. And I think looking at just get in, even if that's where you start with a condo, and you look and go, okay, for the next 4 years, I'm going to buy this condo, hopefully one that needs some paint and some flooring, and you're going to, put some elbow grease in there, and in 4 or 5 years, you're going to sell that. You're going to make some money. You're going to move on to the next property. More of a long-term plan with real estate.
Well, getting on the property ladder. We often use that description with first-time buyers, saying, you grab one rung of the ladder, and it's a studio apartment, and then you swing forward to, the next ladder next rung is perhaps a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom, and then a townhome and a half duplex. Like, making your way, provided the numbers all make sense. It's expensive buying real estate, paying property transfer tax, etc. It's expensive selling when you're paying the fees, transaction fees. So you need to be strategic, but you can do well.
Well, I think that actually helps I think you as a society, we all assume that we're going to get into social media. You just are like, oh, I want that. But you're like, I'm never going to get that. But you're so right. You just have to. I mean, I think about how my parents lived, and they didn't have a nice first house.
Yeah.
Like,
you just have to start.
You're sharing rooms or.
Yes, totally. Yes.
Yeah.
Fighting for the shower. Yeah, it was great.
Because there are 3 of us. We have another sister.
Yes. I was going to say,
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, would you have any advice for females that are starting or wanting to look at real estate, or like what's your first step, or do you guys like to mentor at all, or someone wanted to connect? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah, we would absolutely mentor. We do with lots of realtors here in town and out of town as well.
I think advice is be true to yourself. Don't sell your soul. The industry is really glamorized. So I think you see Selling Sunset or some of these shows, and it's all about short skirts and big boobs, if I can say that. And that will be your key to success. And it's like, no, it's not at all. It's being authentic, and it's working really hard, and it's giving people honest advice, even if that means don't buy now. This doesn't make sense for you, and wait another year.
Or you don't get the listing. That's okay.
Yeah. So I think it's maintain your grace and your class
and be educated. I think there's a lot of information out there, and with new agents that we bring on that join our group, it's a big thing that we spend a lot of time on is educating yourself on the market. No more than, there's information out there. Yeah. So you need to know more than your client does, certainly, and you need to know everything that you can about real estate, about neighborhoods, about the schools, about the stats. What's the market doing and the trends, so that you can best inform your clients.
Well, and it's changing, so you have to keep up.
You have to keep up with it.
It's like AI, just have to keep.
Absolutely.
And I think what you said is really important. No more than the client, because I think in any business, I think it's important to show what your unique selling proposition is. What sets you apart from the 1,500 realtors we have in Kelowna. And it's if you could, Alexa, if you were looking at buying something, and you're like, well, I actually know more than the Stone Sisters. Well, then why would you use us? So if we can bring some value to the table in the negotiating, in the marketing, in the insight with what's happening down the road to the area, then there's value there.
Well, and it helps that you have been here selling for a while too, so you know communities, you know, the up and coming, you know, the growing, you know, that your client might not like that area because.
Well, there's clay in the soil and they shrink and expand, or there's a future sewer treatment plant going in, or some, you know, future road allowance, things that aren't easily found, like our official.
You're kind of like detectives.
You have to be.
I mean,
absolutely.
I just read our official community plan. I think it was 146 pages.
Wow.
And I'm scrolling and scrolling, but it's critical to know and just know everything that's coming.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, thank you, ladies. Do you have any last words, or how do we follow Connect?
Vote for Stone Sisters.
Yes, please.
Nominate first and then vote.
Right.
Yeah. And then connect with you guys, social media channels.
Instagram, Facebook. So we're Stone Sisters. I think on Facebook it's Kelowna Real Estate Stone Sisters. Instagram it's Stone Sisters. We each also have our own Tamara Stone Instagram and Shannon Stone Instagram.
I'm on Snapchat, but only for my kids.
There's too many.
There's too many to keep up. We are on LinkedIn as well, so we're on everywhere.
That's a good place to connect.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies, for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.